This is Niagara Falls, and this police presence you can see not far from a bridge, one of the bridges that connects the two countries, Rainbow Bridge specifically. An incident involving a car and an explosion, the car exploding. Details pretty thin, but the FBI have released statements. Various agencies in New York and in Canada too released their statements saying on social media that they are investigating, that it's a fluid situation and that they are working together. Right, let's cross now to Gary O'Donoghue in Washington, D.C. for us. Gary, what do we know?
Well, as you say, what we know are some bare bones at the moment, which is that a car appeared to come from the Canadian side of the border. It, according to one official, hit part of the Rainbow Bridge, went out of control, and then exploded at high speed. We don't know what caused that explosion. Certainly some of the pictures that are appearing from Niagara up there are quite dramatic. What's happened now is that all those border crossings, and there are 4 of them in that northwestern part of New York, all those international border crossings with Canada have been closed. The FBI are investigating along with local law enforcement, local police, and that does also include the Joint Terrorism Centre. Now, there's no indication at this stage that this was anything terrorism related, but the fact that they're involved is something clearly they're looking into. And I would say that, of course, that we are the day before Thanksgiving here in the United States, and that is a huge moment. You know, a lot of people travelling, obviously, but it is also a huge moment where people are concerned about security incidents, and it is potentially a target. So all those things will be considered in the investigation as it's taking place now, but really very few facts. The governor of New York is heading up there to see what's going on as well, and we're awaiting sort of more official statements from the police and the FBI, etc.
Okay, Gary, stay there for us. Thank you for that. Just in the last couple of minutes, we got in a statement. Someone interviewed on camera an eyewitness just to explain the way that broadcasting organisations around the world work is that it is a partnership arrangement, and the BBC's partnership right now is with CBS News, and so they are clearly news gathering on the ground there in the US, and they have spoken.
My wife and I were walking down Main Street here, and the car was coming flying back here like over 100 miles an hour. We could hardly even see him, he was going that quick. There was a car in front of him. He swerved around it, and then it looked like he hit the fence, and this fire started, and then all of a sudden he went up in the air, and then it was a ball of fire like 30, 40 feet high. I've never seen anything like it. It was really incredible.
So we got some new details, didn't we, there? We'll just try and cue that up again and just take another listen to what he said, because that man there gave a pretty detailed description of what he saw. So we'll just try and listen to that again in a few seconds. Let's take a look at the live pictures we have right now of the police incident response, effectively. This is by that bridge, Niagara Falls area there, which of course many people will know. It's a famous tourist location, but it's also the border between the US and Canada, and there are bridges connecting the two, and on one of those bridges, the Rainbow Bridge, there has been this incident involving a car and an explosion. I just want to check if we can listen to that eyewitness again. Right, let's just try and take a listen and listen to the description of what he says he saw.
My wife and I were walking down Main Street here, and the car was coming flying back here like over 100 miles an hour. We could hardly even see him, he was going that quick. There was a car in front of him. He swerved around it, and then it looked like he hit the fence, and this fire started, and then all of a sudden he went up in the air, and then it was a ball of fire like 30, 40 feet high. I've never seen anything like it. It was really incredible.
So quite a vivid description there from one eyewitness. As I mentioned, our broadcast partners in the US are CBS News. They're on the ground. They're gathering various interviews. We got that through them. Let's go to Gary O'Donoghue. Gary, our first description there of potentially what happened.
Yes, and it does sound very dramatic, and there will be lots of questions that are raised by that, particularly from what that eyewitness said, the sort of scale of the explosion that took place. I mean, clearly that could be something to do with the car itself, with the petrol tank. It could be something to do with something else inside the car. We just don't know at this particular time. And this to happen at the border, where generally speaking car traffic travels slowly, this happening at high speed suggests there was something irregular going on with that car, but we'd be speculating at this stage. We know that the Canadian Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, is being kept abreast of the situation. That's just come clear. And we know that the Governor of New York is heading for that area as well. And as you say, these bridges that join that part of New York to Canada, right by Niagara Falls, we're talking about a mile away from the falls themselves, all those 4 bridges have been closed in both directions, those international border bridges. So clearly the security services think that they need to be cautious, and they're also looking at searching cars in places like Buffalo, which is nearby, and the airport there. And there will be extra security checks on passengers moving through those airports. So this is not, at this stage at any rate, it's not being treated like just a car accident. People are being very cautious that this might be something more, but we don't know yet.